SMT Nation, we back nation. For those of you that have been following the channel for a while, you know I've been kind of tracking the story. There's some things happening at Boost Mobile which are very scammy, fraudulent, dare I say. And I produced a video a few weeks ago about this. In fact, I've got it pictured here and I'm going to play a segment of it because it doesn't make sense for me to just keep repeating the things that I've been saying. But unfortunately, some folks have not watched that content, haven't seen that video, and or they doubted the credibility of the story. Whether they doubted me personally or they doubted the story in and of itself, they need to know. Customers need to know what's going on. The severity of this is increasing. When I produced the story and I made the video, there were some folks in the comment section who questioned my credibility as, I guess, a reporter to this. Folks, I want to make something very, very clear. I don't stick my neck out to harm companies unless there's just cause. And I don't make stories up and I don't make content off of just some flaky things. All right. When I start to see things picking up and I start to see the severity of a problem snowballing, that's when I start to kind of piece together information. I start doing my own personal investigation with my sources and I get to the bottom of it. I've got more developments on what's going on at Boost Mobile. So I'm going to play this segment of the video and then I'm going to explain what has happened since I produced this content. All right. And then we're going to look at some of the comments of the folks that doubted the credibility and the realness of this because they are unfortunately are going to have to eat crow and have pie on their face. Anyways, let's play back the video from a few weeks ago. One of the things that Boost has changed, Boost Mobile, within the confines of its policies is customers have to be able to produce a valid ID to qualify for, phone upgrades, phone purchases, special deals and promos, services and stuff like that. Some, oftentimes many people, aren't able to produce this ID, for a lot of different reasons. Some people, come in as immigrants and don't have an ID yet, but they need cell service. Some people maybe were previously incarcerated and have yet to get on their feet. There's a bunch of different reasons why they may not be able to produce an ID. Store reps, in order to bypass this, to get people activated and to sell lines and phones, are using the identifications, the IDs and ID info of previously activated customers, using those IDs to open secondary accounts for people that don't have valid IDs. This creates two victims. It creates two victims because the ID holder becomes a victim because now there's going to be additional accounts opened on their identification. And then the new customer, because they can't produce that same ID at any point in the future to access the account, to make a payment in the store, to get another phone or another activation or another line, right? They can't do any of those things. The thing about all of this is Dish, Boost Mobile, are not really addressing the issue. It's starting to upwardly scale. It's happening at a greater level, more frequency and more instances. And the most unfortunate part here is the fact that they're neglecting to address the issue. And you have agents at the stores who are simply trying to sell lines. They're responding to tough economic times, hard times in which they want to sell lines, but they're stuck with this policy in which they have to ID people in order to sell the lines. So they're trying to obviously survive in the economics, but they're doing so in a fraudulent and scamful way. And Dish is enabling it, and Dish has created the platform or the opportunity for these issues. This may be one of the dirtiest, sneakiest, most horrible things I've seen in the industry. I can't tell you guys how awful this is. I'm hearing accounts from multiple sources of this thing happening at huge scale across different states with many, many dealers and many agents. And again, there are multiple victims here. There's victims of circumstance, there's victims of negligence, and all of this because of a lack of attention and a lack of care by the owners. Dish is culpable. Boost Mobile is culpable. They have created the circumstance. They have created this environment, this ecosystem of fraud and scams. I feel bad on a lot of different levels for a lot of different people. How about the folks who are just trying to get service and then they can't produce the ID, but then the agent lets them, right? And then they come back to pay their bill or do something, and they're stomping out their phones, they're throwing them in the trash. They don't want to risk, immigration issues and them getting deported out of the country. And they just lost their number. They're gonna have to get a new number. And where are they gonna do it? How are they gonna do it? They're out of a phone. And they've been given out that number to establish employment. Who knows? Family. Look at the problems it's gonna create, folks. This is horrible. And I had to make a video. I had to get these facts out. But folks, if you are a Boost Mobile customer and you've been in a store recently and things may have seemed a little sketchy, things may have seemed a little unusual, I mean, it might be worth investigating. And if you've been a victim of this and you couldn't understand why and what was happening, now you may have some answers. I don't know who to place the blame on outside of Dish and Boost. You got people trying to survive in these stores and sell lines and services. You got people just trying to get service, and you got people who, innocent bystanders, they're getting their IDs used and stolen, basically. It's basically identity theft here, right? This is pretty sad. This is really sad, actually. I don't know how much of this goes on at other companies. I don't know. Cricket, Boost, TracFone, I don't know those things. But this is the first time I've seen this concentration of cases coming from multiple sources telling me the same thing. There are people trying to do things right, and there are people who are trying to do things wrong. And all of this because of the mayhem and the madness at this company. And it's been like this for 3 years. Okay, folks, so that's the recap of what the situation has been. The magnitude and the scale of the ID scam has continued to scale up, and it looks like possibly Dish has kind of dropped the hammer on, what they've created is an investigation. They've been, digging into the occurrences that have been happening at Boost stores with dealers and agents at those associated stores. And what they're doing is they're impacting those dealers financially, withholding funds, and actually it's gotten to the point where they're even closing doors. And the reason why I want to follow up on this is because this is going to impact the retail structure across the country, right? How Dish decides to take action is going to indicate whether or not this company moves forward in a different direction or if it's going to continue to spiral out of control. So this is a follow-up. This is a follow-up to the scale of the problem. This is a follow-up to the action that Dish is now taking because, like I said in my first video, Dish is accountable for this. Yes, the dealers are accountable for it too. Yes, the agents are accountable for it too. They'll lose their jobs. There will be a further investigation. People will lose funds. It has already been happening. I have been in contact with dealers who are experiencing store closures, who are experiencing threats from Dish. So this is exactly as I have said in this previous video. And then I have folks in my comments section questioning the credibility of this report, questioning the authenticity of this report. This statement here from a commenter, again, this is a month ago from the original video. Fraud is something real, but this sounds like a bit of fear-mongering. How is it fear-mongering? You have people whose IDs are being used in theft and fraud. Scamming, using people's IDs, personal information. It says Dish has some real issues. There's not enough details here. What the hell are you talking about? The scale continues to get larger. The problem is continuing to get worse. And now Dish is taking action. This comment from this other commenter, I looked all day yesterday and some this morning. New searches, Reddit, like Reddit something like we need to celebrate. I can't find a single thing to validate these claims. I think this is just clickbait and straight up false rumors. See, these people won't come back to the comment section and apologize. These people won't come back and admit they're wrong. I doubt you even have any sources. I am in touch with the people that are in the field, the dealers, the authorized sellers, the agents. I mean, the newest information from my sources that you seem to question, all these commenters, is these dealers are going to lose thousands, and some of them are so large they will lose millions of dollars, because Dish is going to come down and say they have manipulated the system, they have done things in a fraudulent manner, and it's going to cost them their locations. These doors will close. These dealers will lose their access. They will lose their funding. Funds from their accounts will be held and not returned. So while there are folks who question my credibility and my authenticity of these stories, there are just as many folks who also think that I'm actually part of the industry and I own stores because of the attention that I have with respect to these particular stories. We are in front of the curve here at sneedmobiletech, not because we're trying to flex and show off, but because we have become a voice of consumer information, a voice of dealers. We get the information and we present it to you before it hits the mainstream media sometimes. We're ahead of the curve when it comes to things like this. We just want people to know. So as some of the folks in the comment section question me and question what we present, I do not stick my neck out and take chances. The sources I have are batting 1,000. The sources I have are not trying to give me the okie doke and try to trick me. They are trying to get the information out to help folks so they know what's coming down the pipeline. So to the folks who left those comments questioning the credibility, please do come back and bring that same energy you once brought. I know you won't, because you're probably not man enough and you won't admit to it, but I don't care. I'm going to continue to do what the channel does, and that's keep people informed. All right, if you are proud to be a viewer, subscriber, supporter of the SMT Nation, give this video a like. Please do share it to your friends and family, those that are impacted, possibly Boost Mobile customers. This scam has been going on for months. The scale has increased over time, and now it looks like Dish is going to drop the hammer on these dealers, and it's already begun. Look out for locations around your area to be impacted by this. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comment section below. You all the voice of the people. The SMT Nation, let your voice be heard.